Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik, and this is a game of One the Pacific Advanced Edition. This is my play by email match against Xargun. This is scenario 1, with no modification. Allies have no walking torpedoes. Historical. But we're playing on the game version 26B, so the standard older edition from 2018 if I'm correct. So far for me the first days was very safe and not sorry, and I achieved tactically maybe nothing really great and powerful and to talk a lot about it, but strategically I achieved every possible victory I can ask for so far. So I took Kuantan, Kota Buru, and now I'm at Mersing already. Unloading here. And I lost so far no important military equipment. Here's a AP, a bigger AP. Getting one torpedo hit is on fire. Not sure if one torpedo hit is enough, but yesterday my submarines more or less failed completely. So this is a nice change of the events. At least some successes. Here's a British submarine and escaped the detection. Attacking my destroyers. All my destroyers are more or less shielding my invasion fleet, let us say this. So the submarine is forced to attack the destroyer. And because we are here in shallow water, I can achieve some hits. Maybe not enough to really cripple the submarine, but at least make it more risky to operate it longer in the open. Good. I land some smaller detachment. Here in the north there's also some, I think there's these two bases, I think in total there are 4 or 5 small contingents of Australian forces, but the main forces in Rabaul and in Port Moresby. These are the primary goals to take over before the Allies can reinforce them. For Japan, and this make it more complicated for Japan, is the Allies are simply not prepared. They have much more equipment and the technology. Of course, I would say the Allies are also better in technology in nearly every aspect. There's only this first 6 months of the war that the Japanese have maybe better fighter airplanes and better torpedo bombers and walking torpedoes. But this is everything. There's not much left. What the Japanese really are better. The Allies have already radar early on. The Japanese must wait for this 1 or 2 years. So second attack, and again both torpedoes fail. So like yesterday, I would say this is a little weak. I calculate always with 50% hit ratio for Japanese submarines. So only 1 hit out of 4 torpedoes. Unluckily. And also only 1 ship gets encountered by all of my submarines. This could be better. So little unlucky start for me, but only on a lower tactical level, I would say. And I also learned that you can always cry about, oh, I don't score here a hit, or I lose here 1 destroyer or something like this. That is maybe painful, especially for Japan in scenario 1. but the overall strategic goals are matters. And you can achieve 10 small victories or lose 10 small battles around the map, and the impact on the overall war will be at the end minor. So my Nell bombers cannot find the location or find not the target because of the weather. And here's the other PT boat. Xargun put in port to lure in my torpedo bombers and maybe shield some other ships. And I have no torpedoes loaded. I'm not so sure why, but that can happen. My carriers are still here covering my invasion task force, and I must choose a target where I don't need air cover and hopefully don't encounter enemy cap fighters. But yeah, this is, I think, open terrain, so I don't achieve much. I lose even one dive bomber. And this is a attack against the land forces to slow them down. Again, this is always strikes. Main, I would say, a carrier task force is not supposed to do. This is waste of time and ordnance. But Malaya is 80% jungle, so wherever I strike, the results will all be very small and no big impact. I could maybe go for Georgetown again, but there's everything destroyed already. So my Chinese area, or my Japanese Air Force for the Chinese war area, is slowly but steadily forming up. But I need, I think, up to 1 week to really get everything in position. And after 1 week, the Chinese are also starting to retreat in out of the clear terrain. So, yeah. But so far, I try at least to hit what is possible, create as much more, the greatest possible damage on the Chinese army, and at the same time trying not to fly in enemy cap traps. I mean, the Allies also needs time to prepare the air force in China. I think the original setup is limited on Changsha and 2 or 3 other cities where there's aviation support. So for the Allies, they also cannot immediately move in fighters and interceptors and kill every Japanese bomber. And here's the other cargo ship, hit the rock or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, sinking by accident. Unluckily, this is a better cargo ship. Before I lost a small light cargo ship, I would say, yeah, it doesn't matter. This was a good cargo ship. We will see soon. So still here, mine layers, small cargo ships, or light cargo ships, patrol boats, and the blue reports are all more or less useless, discharged, and not reliable or whatever. Then I have weather issues. So this is out of Saigon, Yesterday I tried to finish off these destroyers, and here I am again, still trying to get a torpedo hit. And again failed. And these are all skillful pilots. This is the advantage the Japanese have, and this is why I am very sensitive to using my long-range torpedo bombers without escort and flying into cap trap. They are all very skillful. You cannot get better pilots in torpedo bomber skill or navy bomber. They are already the best what is possible for training. They may be like a little experience, but they have even a very high experience level. So to lose these pilots will cost you months to train them new. And many players simply don't understand this. They throw them in and losing them over Singapore or wherever. And then, okay, oh, I lost 10 Nil bombers. Oh, no problem. Yeah, the Nil bombers maybe you can build. But the pilots? In 10 would I be still okay. But 20, 30 is then later painful. Very hard to replace. If you really want to see how to lose your half of your Navy bomber air wings, then you can watch the old TLG XTRG game, I think. There was some very bad air battles over Malaya. But if I understand it correct, Jochen Heide had a similar situation now in his new Scenario 1 game. So, I mean, this can happen also in Scenario 2, but Scenario 2 have simply much more backup resources. So overall, like I said, Kilroy threw everything on me. Jochen was aggressive. In this match, Xargun is trying to evade and not head-on striking me. I don't see he will run away always, but so far he is not going in. But he tried to use his submarines. But my patrol boat is here and getting 4 more hits. Again, I would say it doesn't. If you don't see fire or heavy damage, the submarines are normally always ready to operate. If they will stay longer is up to the player, but they are not forced to return. So I arrive in Guam. I catch a Chinese HQ, and they are forced to flee northwest. But this is the only HQ, so only support. And I take Mersing, and unluckily the Australian and the allies are already out of the hex. So I can take the base. The base itself is not so important. But yeah. Now I lose more or less a turn because my tanks was normally on pursuit, so I was hoping to catch the Australian, force them out of the hex, or at least destroy them, or best case force them out of the hex, wherever they won't go, west or southwest, I hope. Then my tanks will follow up, and then I can block the whale immediately. But now I don't know why this is I think a very strange feature of the game. If you defeat the enemy unit and the unit is retreating, you can set up your own units. Some of the units, they don't take part of the battle, and they will follow the enemy. That is possible, but I see no function that is that you say this unit will not take off the battle and will move instead. So we must always wait to capture the base, and then in the next turn you can move, but you can battle and then follow up the enemy. Make no sense for me why there's a limitation, but it is like it is. So I take Mersing, no battle, and this is attack on Iba, and I take the base. And both units are surrendering. So the Filipinos then are very, I don't say now typical, but they are not willing to fight. The morale crash again. Both American units are, in this case, are both Filipino base force and Filipino division. They don't really fighting, or they're fighting only for a minute or 5 minutes, and then it's siesta, and then it's over. Nice. So this is my landing forces at Arabul. Still not enough to really take the base, but also too strong to be kicked out. This is... yeah. This is a paratrooper guy. Because I make at the beginning I landed here, take San Fernando, and because we have this house rule, but they say after you can only make one drop. So one unit can make one drop, and then you must get this unit together to full strength, because before this unit can make the next drop. So I more or less sent all of my paratroopers to San Fernando. Once they was recombined, was at 100% unit strength, no subunits. I make now the drop to take this base, mainly only to have the base that I can unload additional forces in this hexes without suffering losses. If you control the base and make amphibious landing, then it's your base. Then you will not lose equipment over the beach, at least to 99%. So San Fernando already gets the airbase to level 4. This is, I think, already enough to operate a lot of aircraft there. Good. Again, but no exciting turn, nothing really happening. Kill ratio of airplanes 1 to 5, but this is mainly related to flag losses on one side and ops losses, because I run a lot of aircraft and Xargun only make training missions and something else. So yeah, I run 3,500 sorties and the allies only 2,300, and if they're all training, yeah, then you don't have much losses. Out of this 5 airframes, I have 2 killed pilot. Is okay. Ship sunk last turn. So this was this good Japanese cargo ship. It's really a good cargo ship. Not only better, it's a good one. The Monarch, I hear no sinking sound, so it's not dead now, but it's maybe crippled. And I'm not sure. There is no shipyard at Batavia. Of course, Batavia is maybe good enough to get the fires out and repair the system damage, but for major damage, you must normally go to Surabaya or Singapore or Colombo. But Colombo is too far away to have immediately help. So anything else? So I took this hex, nothing more. I build up my forces that I create my Xi'an army. I also will try to create a Nanyang army, more, I call it Nanyang army, but one force is more or less here, one force is here, a third Kaifeng army will be here, and then I try to go for Xi'an. I battle here, threaten Xi'an also from the source, so that Xargun must split his defense, where if he want defense Xi'an, he must more or less have at least 3 hexes covered. If he give up Xi'an, he will fall back behind Xi'an, but we will see. But it's the possibilities that the Allies player cannot only focus at one front. I think this I learned out of the Jochen game. You can mess up one big army, 10,000 AV. I think there are some game rules, maybe. I don't know exactly why, but I had the feeling that over 4,000 AV, it doesn't matter more how much AV you have. It looks for me like there's not more AV really on the table if you're attacking. So armies over 4,000 AV have for me so far, I would say, no real benefit. You can of course say, okay, this 4,000 are taken today and then 4,000 the next day. It is possible. That is maybe a tactic I can also try one day. Here in the source I will try to create a Wenchao army. This needs some time. And I, of course, after I take Hong Kong, this is number one goal, then I have my Hong Kong army, Canton army, more or less. It's a little complicated here, so you have here this broken up 126 division. Oh no, not this one. I think it's these are also some paratroopers. I put them here for garrison duty because you have this Hong Kong defense force you can build, and you can build up here the 51st division. These are two divisions are broken here in South China. So the Hong Kong Defense Division Force and the 51st Division. They are split up here. And I do something, I mean, you have this garrison request in many of the bases in China. If you don't have garrison request, then there's this trigger that there's a partisan attack, damage the base. And I'm not so sure. I think if something is red, this is then you have normally white, yellow, orange, red. And if something is red, I think maybe it's not more functional. And I don't know what more will happen. But at the end, I do this here on purpose. Fusho, I don't have anything inside. I don't care. I lose maybe one victory point per day. But this will not trigger every day. So like 30% trigger chance if you have no garrison. I would say 30-50% maximum. So, but it's cost me 120 garrison requests normally now, and I don't have them now. Maybe sooner or later, maybe after 3-4 months, I can come and put here some in. But now I don't have them. I want to create this Hong Kong Defense Force and the 51st Division. This I can do, but only if I don't have any equipment or forces in Fusho. And the next, this damage will gate for port damage, airfield damage, runway damage, but nothing else. Here is also nothing. Here's only manpower damage. This will not be damaged by partisan. So only to explain this. How, and you can also simply really go low on garrison in some other cities, like here in Shanghai, because here's a division starting, a free division. I take this division and will send to Philippines. And I'm now low at the garrison. In worst case, yeah, maybe I lose here one victory point and maybe some damage to port and airfield. But I can repair this. You cannot do this maybe all the time, and of course Shanghai is a port and a hub, so I would not completely wipe out all garrisons out of Shanghai, but this is local. It's independent. This is not on a network. There's no flow of supplies here. It's the end of the line. I don't care. Good. So enough about China. Not much more to see. We need more time. Here in Thailand, I also must but I'm already moving on so as fast as possible over the mountains because this is a slow road, needs time. I try to take Victoria Point. It is one of the first bases the Japanese can take on the west side of the Gulf, or more or less. This is the Indian Ocean and this is Pacific. And then you can more or less bring submarines here, dock here, take fuel, and if you have AS, you can also load torpedoes, and then you can operate from this location much better to Rangoon or around Calcutta. Good. So I took Mersing, tactical achievement successful, but the strategic position is not really so good. So there are still more Malayan forces are fleeing, and I was not able. I was hoping to have my tanks already now, and then I would say, okay, already now the cut happened, and that would be 11th of December, and I would say that is still not gamey because I would say make the first day Mersing landing is first very risky and also maybe a little gamey, but I don't want to discuss this. So I did it in this a little slower approach and also not too super risky. Submarines are here and trying to blockade going in and between Singapore and Palm Bay. I don't want to have any traffic because that is the worst can happen. I don't say the worst, but it's possible that Allies player can move troops from Singapore. If they say, yeah, Singapore, I don't want to even try to hold it because it's impossible. I won't bring them to Palm Bay. Not that you really can hold Palm Bay, but you can hope that you delay the taking of Palm Bay. And Palm Bay is important, or the most important base after Tokyo and Osaka for the Japanese. I mean, more or less. Good, nothing else here to say. I have here my carriers. I try to find something, but for somehow reasons, weather or whatever issues, I can never find a really big chunk of enemy shipping. Or I find a lot of shipping, but I have no airstrikes, or my airstrikes going all for destroyers and not for other equipment. So these are all cargo ships for sure, but yeah, no airstrike. But I have now my HQ here fully loaded, and now I can buy torpedoes. So and more. I mean, so now I have here my fighter, local cap fighters already. Recon airplanes are here. Torpedo bombers are here. Everything is ready to take off. And I have an air base. Can handle air groups and can handle also the stack level. So this is why I like San Fernando. You can build it up very easy to level 4. You have already level 3. If there's an enemy airstrike incoming, you can normally defeat the allies and you control the base, so all the pilots are lost. And the allies don't have many good pilots, so if the allies play with original pilots, they're not good. Then you will have a lot of air kills. Allies can replace the pilots with good pilots. Then maybe you have only kill ratio of 1 to 1. Then you will use maybe your airframe, but you will know most of the time you will save your pilots, but the allies lose their best pilots early on in the war. Anyway, it is like this. I take here this base because here are already my ships coming to unload more equipment, and I want to unload this here to fast move them in Manila, because if the allies try to hold Manila, I need more forces. My forces are only block forces. I'm strong enough to hold off this Filipino division so that they cannot reinforce Manila, but this is all. And first forces arriving already at Clarkfield. This is only tank unit. It's more like to scare Xargun and maybe see how he react. He will maybe try to attack me. Not sure if my tanks can hold this, but I can maybe inflict a lot of damage to him. And even if my tank units are defeated and forced out and all of this is disabled or even destroyed, if I can take 100 AV away from the allies, would be in favor for me, because this is a triple defense. So my priority is keep the allied attack value low. So yeah, so far to this. And the rest is not really too active. I only can say that my carriers are already on the way down to Truk to refuel, rearm, and going for the next journey. Guam, I landed with some smaller forces. I think more is coming. Oh no, only supplies. But it is normally enough to take Guam. One short view to my commerce rating, armor cruisers, armor merchants. These are powerful, cargo ships or AMCs, let's say this, armed merchant cruisers. But they will behave a little unlucky, and let's say this. I try to check the situation of Pago Pago. Maybe there is something. Sometimes the allies try to unload the equipment. But these are really only ships can handle enemy cargo ships. If enemy destroyer is already too strong. This is also why this concept was not really working. What is working better is that you have a very cheap, simple ship armed with some guns. You can take on maybe cargo ships, and then it's fine. But if you lose this kind of commerce radars, it will not hurt you. This kind of ships are far too expensive, far too powerful. They can take any cargo ship out, sure, but every enemy destroyer will sink this ship. So it is normally, I think, the wrong way to do this kind of tactics. And I would say also this tactics was working in First World War very successfully for the Germans because there was no air force, no air power. Now it's already end of 41 and the German commerce raiders was in Second World War not so successful and the good time was over now. So yeah, I don't know if you really can do it much. If you are lucky, you can of course intercept some convoy and create a lot of damage. But yeah, I think I will not have so much luck. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.